This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin Freakin.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol live. It's a freaking Thursday. Oh, I'm sorry, I just coughed right into the microphone. Remember when I said I would be on Sunday because I won't be on next Sunday because of WrestleMania? That was an April Fool's joke. I'm sorry. Welcome. Good evening, DJ Dub. I saw you over on Kick. I don't know where your comments are. The Kick people not being represented again tonight. Who fucking knows? Good evening. Welcome. I'm not high enough for this shit. So let's fix that. We'll do that before anything else. Got this dude in my text messages for the show. He called in last summer. He's saying some transphobic shit in my messages. Because of course he is. Dumb fucking bigots. He's the one that told me that the earth was 5,000 years old. That was a new one to me because I always thought it was like 12,000 years old. Oh, that's what the Christians said. Somebody's math is wrong. Of course, everybody knows I don't do math. I can't hit it yet. I can't hit the Scott Steiner yet. What I can hit, though, is this fucking bong. Now, unfortunately, I missed Sunday night. I had Easter graphics and everything ready to go. I planned on doing a show Sunday night. I don't remember what happened. I think I fell asleep. I've been over here working my ass off. But that's because I got shit I want to do. Throwing a huge bash this weekend for WrestleMania. Got ribs. Gonna make homemade barbecue sauce. I ordered a food processor. It's supposed to be here tomorrow. Make my barbecue sauce with. Get it nice and smooth. I've made barbecue sauce a couple of times without a food processor. I used to use it. I had a little hand chopper, and that's what I used to use to get my consistency on the barbecue sauce. But no, I got me a nice 8-cup Black & Decker food processor. I'm going to roast some onions, garlic, tomato. That's going to be my barbecue sauce for my ribs that I'm making on WrestleMania Saturday. And then I will not be here on Sunday because of WrestleMania. I will not be here next Thursday because I will be in Nashville, or I will be on my way back from Nashville. I will be seeing, oh God! Amen indeed. Because it was Easter Sunday. It was also Trans Day of Visibility on Sunday. I missed that. So, for my trans homies out there, whenever I hear some transphobic bullshit, excuse me, bitch. You got nothing on this cock razor. Sparkles, good evening. Welcome. Sparkles, since Sparkles is here, I'm going to remind everybody in 16 days, it is the 420 anniversary celebration, the 420 anniversary celebration of the Troll Patrol. Hopefully I'm going to have some good news about a little something we all been waiting on to hear back from before this happens. The 420 anniversary spectacular, April 20th, 4 p.m. Eastern. Now that is a Saturday. It's a special Saturday edition of the Troll Patrol live on 420, which means that next year our 420 anniversary celebration actually falls on Easter Sunday. The 5th anniversary of the Troll Patrol falls on April 20th, 2025, Easter fucking Sunday. Say hey to everybody, Smokey. Smokey heard we're having a party on the 420 episode of the Troll Patrol. No, he'll be there for the party. Sparkles will be reading everyone a bedtime story. She's going to come along towards the end of the show, going to read everybody a bedtime story in her robe. That is what Sparkles has promised to contribute to the Troll Patrol Live 420 Anniversary Spectacular. Last year, we did a Menage a Troll. This year, it is the 420 Anniversary Spectacular. 2 weeks from Saturday. It's coming up on us so fast. What are we talking about tonight on the show? That's a good question because Justin doesn't even know. It's another one of those days where nothing but a robe. Sparkles is going to have nothing but a robe on. I'm sorry if you're over on Kick and you're talking to me, I'm sorry you are not coming through. I'm gonna pull Kick up just so I know what you guys are saying. If you're talking to, maybe you're not even saying shit over there. What I know. DJ Dub, get high as shit, my friend. I'm gonna get high as shit. I don't know why I can't see your comments. We're gonna get high as shit together. So yeah, I've been busy. I did not put a show together. I have no clue what that dude's be doing. We're gonna find out together tonight. The only thing I really know we're doing on this show is we're watching a man set himself on fire. I know that's happening. Very sad. Apparently, they were trying to serve an eviction on him. It happened like 2 days ago. Trying to serve an eviction on this like 80-something-year-old man, and rather than be evicted, he set himself on fire. There is body cam footage of the cops reacting. And it's wild. Too many people have been setting themselves on fire here lately. I don't like it. If you are feeling like you might want to set yourself on fire, please call the suicide hotline. That ain't gonna help you much if you're getting evicted. 988 is the suicide hotline. Help is available. "24 hours a day, 7 days a week." 988. Text it, you can call it. We're going to talk about a NCAA coach who might be violating her players' religious freedom. Longtime teacher had to step down after officials found her OnlyFans account, of course. Fish in Florida are spinning themselves to death. And scientists are working to discover why. Lizzo said she was quitting music, but is apparently not quitting music, just quitting the bullshit. Oh, there was a incident that happened at a Tennessee church on Easter Sunday where apparently a bunch of Bibles were burnt. I did not know until I saw the story on Sunday, but I did not know until today that was the church ran by Pastor Greg Locke. So I'm just gonna go ahead and assume he set those Bibles on fire himself. We're gonna talk about the Fillet-O-fish sandwich. Apparently, Newt Gingrich and Greg Gutfeld are having an argument over the size of a Fillet-O-fish sandwich. McDonald's says they're both smoking crack. Oh. Genocide Joe had a phone call with Benjamin Netanyahu, where he apparently talked really mean to him. It's weird. I don't. This phone quit working right, but it's the only phone I got Discord on, so I turned it on to share things, and it's going like nuts over here because getting a whole bunch of notifications. Roseanne apparently went on a deranged rant about baby blood drinking Democrats at a function at Mar-a-Lago. Donald Trump said he met with a murder victim's family. The family is denying that Trump ever met with them, and apparently the quote that he is throwing around that about describing the young lady, he lifted from her obituary. And I mentioned it's WrestleMania weekend, right? So WrestleMania coming up on Sunday night. WWE star Chelsea Green was in New York City, kicked out of a hotel apparently because they thought she was a hooker. I'm sorry, I didn't say it. WWE superstar Chelsea Green. Sorry, I didn't say it right the first time. We're getting the chance. We're going to talk about a election that happened in Senegal. A revolutionary took took the presidency after being released from prison. Ooh, they're a fucking 7.5 magnitude earthquake hit Taiwan. Crazy video. Well, we're going to talk about Truth Social tonight. There's a whole lot of news around Truth Social. Oh, Trump's bond got revoked, or not revoked, rejected. So his bond has been rejected that he had to file in New York City. It appears that New York City officials are unsure if the bond company is solvent and is demanding proof that the bond company is going to be able to cover Donald Trump's bond. Also, two brothers have pleaded guilty to insider trading. This also coming as Trump is suing the founders of Trump Social. I really don't want to talk about the deliberate attack against aid workers in Gaza. I'm sure you guys have heard. 3 separate strikes on the world. The name of this organization again. I'm sorry. I clicked on the story and it took me to Taiwan. That is very weird. The World Central Kitchen, I think is what it's called. Now suspending operations. Oh, the U.S. has approved more bombs, by the way, today. Israel rejecting claims that it targeted World Central Kitchen workers. However, the World Central Kitchen was reporting their location to the IDF. Libertad, good evening. Meat cakes. DJ Dub having to go over to the Discord to get his messages. I don't know what the fuck is up with Kick. I'm sorry that Kick is not working tonight. And welcome in, everybody. If you're just getting here, my apologies for not being here on Sunday. Cancel Justin indeed. All that and a lot freaking more tonight on the Troll Patrol live. Once again, I didn't have time to prepare for a show. I've been busy as fuck. So we're gonna wing it tonight. So it's not gonna be as structured as usual, but we're still gonna find out what that news be doing. And we're definitely gonna watch a video of a man setting himself on fire. So content warning, fuckers. So I'll go ahead and let you know I will not be here on Sunday. That is WrestleMania. I will not be here on Thursday. I'm going to be seeing A Perfect Circle, Primus, Pussifer, Maynard's 60th birthday celebration. Not my cat, the musician that he is named after. I don't even know where my Maynard... There it is, there it is. But I will be back with you the next Sunday. And don't forget, in 16 days, we got the 420 anniversary celebration. I'm stoked for WrestleMania. This weekend is going to be awesome. Also, I've got mushrooms. Like, I've got ounces of pot. I've got bag of mushrooms. I have the shit to cook, an insane dinner. Insane dinner, I'm telling you. Best friend's coming down. I think, Curiouser, I invited her to Mania like 2 months ago. And she told me that she was going to be out of town. A couple weeks ago, I invited her to Mania. And she told me she was going to be out of town. And then last night, I was talking about WrestleMania because like she asked me when Jesse was coming down. Battle Opossum. And I was like, it's this weekend. WrestleMania is this week. I invited you twice. And she's like, I don't remember you inviting me. I'm not doing anything. I'm like, you told me you were going to be out of town twice. So possibly Curiouser's coming over. Possibly Puzzle Bitch will be here. So I'm having a whole big party, a get together, a shindig for WrestleMania. I am looking forward to Roman Reigns retaining his title, and we will all acknowledge the tribal chief for yet another year. My buddy Battle Opossum is convinced that Roman Reigns is going to lose and that Cody Rhodes will finish his story. And I call him a Cody crybaby, and he can't cope with the reality that the tribal chief is walking out of Mania yet again with that belt around his waist. Acknowledge him. I have still not beat Final Fantasy Rebirth. I am right at the ass end. I'm 100 hours into that motherfucker. 103, 104 is what it said last night. Because I've done about everything. That's why I haven't beat it yet. But we're close. We're very close. We're going to find out exactly what happens. I don't think there is any chance in hell that Roman Reigns is losing. I think they are going to beat Hulk Hogan's record. Time held with the belt, which happens this September or October. So I do not see Roman losing it until then. So sorry to everybody who thinks that Cody Rhodes is going to be winning this weekend. It is Roman Reigns all the way. Don't be a Cody crybaby. I don't even know what to start off with tonight. Once again, if you're just joining us, I didn't do any prep for the show tonight. Oh, by the way, if you didn't see it, I highly recommend watching the Breakfast Club interview with Eric Adams, where Ole completely destroyed him. Oleami O'Loren is now the mayor of New York City. I guess we'll start off tonight talking about Trump because apparently we got breaking news here. He is not only has he called for the January 6th insurrectionists to be freed, he's apparently now calling for the January 6th committee to be imprisoned. Interesting.
And seriously are doing just that in the case that Trump should be reelected president in November. Members of the January 6th Select Committee, the members of Congress and their staffs who have done more than anyone else to pull the curtain back on Trump's efforts to overturn an election he lost, are now bracing for Trump's much promised public promises of retribution should he prevail in November. And his plan is, as we all know, to weaponize the Justice Department and use it to go after all of the people he perceives as political opponents. Former January 6th committee member Zoe Lofgren telling the Los Angeles Times this, quote, if he intends to eliminate our constitutional system and start arresting his political enemies, I guess I would be on that list. One thing I did learn on the committee is to pay attention and listen to what Trump says because he means it. The Los Angeles Times goes on to say this, quote, Lofgren added that she does not yet have a plan in place to thwart potential retribution by Trump, but Representative Adam Schiff, who has long been a burr in Trump's side, said he's having real-time conversations with his staff about how to make sure he stays safe if Trump follows through on his threats. Quote, we're taking this seriously because we have to, Schiff said. We have seen this movie before and how perilous it is to ignore what someone is saying when they say they want to be a dictator. Trump didn't just say he wants to be a dictator just once. He's now said it over and over again in public, in speeches, in front of his supporters.
Oh, you're taking him out of context.
Many, many times.
Oh, liberal MSNBC over here.
Think tanks say it too.
Under no circumstances, you are promising America tonight, you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one. They have done something that allows the next party. I mean, if I happen to be president and I see somebody who's doing well and beating me very badly, I say, go down and indict them.
A Democrat charging his opponent. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. That means that if I win and somebody wants to run against me, I call my attorney general. I say, listen, indict him.
Do you regret not locking her up? And if you're president again, will you lock people up?
Well, I'll give you an example. The answer is you have no choice because they're doing it to us.
On the evening after we've won, the accountability project's going to start, and it's going to be thorough this time. It's going to be, they're going to be in prison.
They're going to be in prison. No evidence of them committing any crimes. Crimes are opposing Trump. Folks, we've said it here before, don't get numb. These are not empty threats. These are not bluster or bloviating. I mean, they're that too, but they're very real. Plans are being drawn up, like white paper kind of plans, and they're chilling. Here's what Liz Cheney had to say about that last week.
One of the individuals has talked about how he wants Trump to appoint him to be Attorney General for 3 weeks, and at the end of 3 weeks, he's going to leave Washington with a pardon from Trump, and he's laid out, his plans for those 3 weeks, which include indictments, detentions. I mean, it's chilling, and it's tempting to listen to these people and think, well, they're crackpots. And they are, but a crackpot with power is really dangerous.
So, Tim, we know from your probe that they wanted to.
Tim's been probing people.
They wanted to get to that point where they had, even in their view, some sort of predicate for invoking the Insurrection Act. And what's extraordinary to me is that
live in
some
sexual anarchy.
Corners of the media, especially conservative media, who may not be conservative enough to be viewed as part of the project, in just about every corner of big business, people think that wouldn't affect them. But the worst thing for the economy, the worst thing for a free press, if you care at all about it, is political instability. And invoking the Insurrection Act and turning the military against your own citizenry is the most politically destabilizing thing that can happen on the planet.
Yeah, absolutely, Nicole. That's right. And we showed that again and again over the course of our hearings, that
with the Department of Justice, with the Department of Defense, that the former president believed that those were sort of instruments of his political interest, that he wanted to invoke the Insurrection Act, as you said, because there were domestic protests completely inconsistent with the historic limitations of the military. And thankfully, men like Mark Esper and Mark Milley were there to tell him, no, you can't do that. He wanted to use the Department of Justice to pursue these baseless allegations of voter fraud. And he was about to install an attorney general who would have sent some letter to the states basically saying, because of our serious concerns about the election, you should convene special sessions. No basis, in fact, or law for that. And he was thwarted again by adults in the room. My fear is that those adults won't be in the room this time, that the currency for service in a second term would be loyalty, not competence. And that's chilling, as you said, right? Thankfully, there were people in place who were guardrails, who respected norms and respected the independence of those agencies. If the second term occurs, that may not happen. Let me just share one quick story, Nicole, about what President Obama said to us when I was a U.S. attorney. So I was really fortunate to be presidentially appointed, confirmed by the Senate, a United States attorney. And then when there were about 50 of us who were confirmed in the beginning of the Obama administration, we all went to the White House for this sort of meet and greet with the president. And he said to us, "You're not my lawyer. You should not look at yourselves as President Obama's lawyer, and you shouldn't think for a minute about whether you should do something that does or doesn't help Obama. You should do what is best for the people of your district." And to me, right, that's right. Like I so appreciated and respected that I was being told to separate politics, to separate the man who'd appointed me's political interest and do what was right for the Western District of Virginia where I served. That's been the history across parties. Republicans and Democrats have imposed.
It's weird that he would say, do what's right for your district. If you're a U.S. attorney, would you be doing what's right for the law?
That at justice, have held to that at justice. And if we ever shrink from that, man, I quake to imagine what could happen with respect to our criminal justice system.
Well, I mean, and I think what Trump is proposing on paper is 2 train stops away from that, right? On the spectrum, the next stop is what we saw in Trump 1, right? An extremely political Justice Department, where Bill Barr put his thumbs on the scales of justice in the Mueller probe, in cases involving Trump's allies. What Trump's proposing, again, on paper, out loud in writing, is turning it into a personal retribution center. I mean, this is the agency that in his view, in his telling to his own supporters, will eke out retribution by, in his words, quote, indicting his political opponents.
So I have 2 thoughts. One is, for those people who are skeptical, thinking, well, maybe he won't do it. Maybe, I have to wait and see.
Oh, no, he'll totally do it.
I would say he is saying it now. Leave aside whether he would do it. If you want to know the choice of who to vote for and what the rule of law means, he has told you now. He's said what his view is of the rule of law. Which
I didn't know this was going to be a campaign ad for Biden. Telling people who to vote for over here. In the last few hours, a judge in Georgia has ruled against Trump in his election interference case on the state level. That's the Fani Willis case in Atlanta.
Here on Atlanta News First Plus, I'm Joy Lim-Nakrin. We do have a special segment planned for today, but I do want to just share with you a little bit of breaking news that we're following just into our newsroom a short time ago. And that is that a judge has rejected former President Trump's bid to essentially get the Fulton County election subversion case thrown out on the grounds of free speech. Remember that Mr. Trump and his legal team had argued that they were essentially, Mr. Trump had been making political remarks, political comments, and that regarding the 2020 election, that they were not intended to go any further than that. That was essentially just speech. And a judge has ruled that actually it was not just speech, it was not just free speech protected by the First Amendment, and so the charges will stand in the Georgia election interference case. We're going to keep following the breaking developments. Obviously, it's a massive RICO case where Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis has been pursuing charges against the former president and his allies. And we're going to keep following the latest. I'm going to have a full live report coming up for you on our traditional free-to-air programming starting later on this afternoon.
That was the second time today that Trump was denied a motion. Also denied the motion in the classified documents case from Judge Cannon. A wild back and forth between prosecutor Jack Smith and Judge Cannon. We're going to go to CNN. They're going to break it down for us.
Trump legal world, where special counsel Jack Smith is delivering his sharpest rebuke yet against Judge Eileen Cannon in the classified docs case. In a filing just late last night, Smith saying Judge Cannon had ordered briefings based on, quote, fundamentally flawed understandings of the case that has, they call it, no basis in law or in fact. Now, in plain English, what does that mean? Special counsel Smith is telling Judge Eileen Cannon that she has no idea what she is talking about. So what's this all about? Well, Judge Cannon requested jury instructions from both sides. And no, you didn't miss anything. The trial has not started. And no, they haven't even picked the jury. I mean, the trial date itself is written in pencil, not ink. But Jack Smith wants the judge to reject Trump's claim that he cannot be prosecuted because he transformed somehow classified documents into private property under what's called the Presidential Records Act. Now, last month, the judge seemed to signal that she thought that defense was absurd. But then, here's the confusing part for Jack Smith's team. She asked for jury instructions that would say the opposite. So now the big question is, where do we go from here? Well, National Security Attorney Brad Moss is here.
Yeah, so this report was before Cannon's ruling. So she actually ruled earlier today. We'll go back to Nicole Wallace here.
The tensions between special counsel Jack Smith and the judge who's puzzling and eyebrow-raising decisions have led to questions about whether she is simply indulging Donald Trump's strategy of delay, delay, and delay again, have now turned into a war of words. In a ruling issued this late afternoon, about an hour ago, Judge Eileen Cannon denied Donald Trump's request to dismiss the classified documents case based on the Presidential Records Act defense. In essence, Trump was claiming that he had the right to hold on to national security state secrets because they somehow belonged to him. Today, Judge Cannon rejected that rather ridiculous defense, handing Jack Smith an ostensible win. This could just be round one on these issues. Cannon saying that the criminal charges against Trump, quote, make no reference to the Presidential Records Act, nor do they rely on that statute for purpose of stating an offense. Adding this, quote, accepting the allegations of the superseding indictment as true, the Presidential Records Act does not provide a pretrial basis to dismiss. The judge there leaving the door open to revisiting this issue. And as
I didn't know Nicole Wallace was from down here in Appalachia.
Today, Cannon had asked both prosecutors and Trump's defense team to address the question of whether those documents could be considered personal in jury instructions, which led to a sharp rebuke from special counsel Jack Smith's team. He called the idea, quote, fundamentally flawed. In her ruling today, Cannon fires back, saying that
Battle Opossum, Anthony. Guys, I don't know why your comments aren't showing up. It's a kick thing. No one's comments are showing up. Anthony asking me if I fuck with Juice WRLD? I think I've heard a couple of his songs. Not all that familiar. Not opposed. I don't know when you asked that. You might have jetted out of here while we were talking about fucking Donald Trump shit. I do need to hit this bong, don't I? But while the other news stations are talking about Trump and his many legal battles. Fox News had a different conversation about Trump. I don't even know how to introduce this. Here you go. Here's just Jesse Waters on the 5.
After probing Russia attacks in his personal life, the media has another Pulitzer Prize-worthy expose on Donald Trump. Behold DJ Donald. Left-wing Axios doing a deep dive on how Trump's Mar-a-Lago Spotify playlist is a Rosetta Stone that demystifies how his mind works. Quote, Trump controls the surround sound stereo system on the breezy patio with his big iPad and its Spotify list. Regulars jokingly call it the DJT performance. The ex-pres reportedly loves to blast the speaker so loud that people have trouble talking as he marvels at the sound quality filling the garden. So what's Trump jamming to these days? Broadway show tunes like Phantom of the Opera and old school bangers from the likes of Elvis, Lionel Richie, Guns N' Roses, Elton John. What does this tell you about the former president, Judge Janine?
What Lionel Richie song is he jamming out to? Hello, is it me you're looking for?
Well, I can't figure out what they're trying to tell us. Are they trying to tell us that based upon the music, they can get into his mind and tell you that he's a dictator? You know, how are they interpreting this? And by the way, I love the image of DJ T. You know, that's better than the mugshot. He should make a T-shirt out of that. Young people would love that. He's going to love it if he hasn't seen it already. Look, who doesn't like their own playlist? If you have a party, you play what you like. You turn it up if you like the volume. You're in the car, you're driving, you're in charge. Why all of a sudden is this something that is like, you know, indicative of what?
Anyone got any ideas what you think Judge Janine jams out to? I'm gonna say 90s rap. Early 90s hip hop.
What a terrible person he is. It means he loves music.
Dana, are you going to go to Spotify and download the playlist?
I just might. I liked a lot of those songs. I thought that there was a disturbing lack of country music on the list, though, and I would like to recommend some songs for the next party. But remember, Obama's Spotify list is basically more anticipated than the Oscar nominations. Like, the media can't get enough of it. And Axios, I think that it's a kind of a weird piece. I get that. But it also is one of those things that people like to read about this. They want to know the people.
Elton John don't like Trump, apparently.
Biden's list. Would love to see that. It's like the snooze button. The other thing is that the reaction to the Axios list from the left was more telling.
I bet we have a Joe Biden playlist. Hold on. Let's find out what Joe Biden listens to. Biden's summer playlist from 7 years ago. Oh, hold on. I gotta pull it up over here on the browser with the ad blocker. So Sam Smith, Bruce Springsteen, the Beatles. Now remember, this is 7 years ago. This was 2016. Lady Gaga, Al Green, Frank Sinatra, Frankie Valli, Tina Turner, Coldplay, Rod Stewart, Katie Lang, Les Miserables, Ray Charles, Joe Crocker. Yep, that seems about right for Joe Biden.
They thought that it was normalizing Trump and that Axios shouldn't have done it. Do not normalize.
He likes music, Jessica. What are we going to do now?
Well, I can't vote for him, just purely based on that. Some of the reaction that I saw on top of the normalization was, this is just so weird. And like regular people who submit pieces could never get them accepted, but because it's the head of the team there, they got to write this piece. And they did connect it to these notions of Trump is basically running the same playbook. That's the argument that they wanted to make. Like, he alone controls the volume and the songs stay the same. And that is what he has been doing thus far. And I think that's a salient point, that his 2024 campaign looks a lot like what the 2020 campaign did.
They're violent.
Themes that he wants to hit. And even when
bummer.
he was talking about in 2018 and trying to help in the 2022 midterms, which obviously was a huge debacle. And so I think that there are, even though it's silly, there are lessons in there for Democrats that are running against Donald Trump to think about where.
Now, for those of you that may be worried about what will happen this fall with the election, I can assure you that the polls seem to be going in Joe Biden's favor. It seems that the more people see Trump, the more Trump is visible, the more turned off voters are by him. If the economy continues to chug along at the pace that it's been chugging on, and you don't see any drastic change, the White House is responding to criticism slowly about Israel, and we'll get to that here in a little bit when we get to the call between Biden and Netanyahu. I don't think there's going to... The media is incentivized to make it seem like more of a race than what it is. And as people pointed out, Donald Trump pulled off a miracle. Like the odds were against him in 2016, and he won 3 states he had no business winning. He isn't going to be able to pull that off again. Libertad brings up if British elections were held today, according to polls, it would be an absolute bloodbath for the Tories. And it was something like Labor picks up something like between 300 and 400 seats. Sunak would still be an MP, right? He would not be Prime Minister, but he would still probably be in the House of Commons. Possibly. Who knows? Once again, it's going to be a bloodbath if the election was held today. We still have not gotten any indication, correct me if I'm wrong on that, of when the Tories are planning on calling the election. It is possible that we get it in as soon as May, or it could be as far back as May of next year, I believe. Might be January next year. I fucking forget. Goddamn British people with their weird ass rules. They have a time period with which they have to call an election by the first quarter of 2025. They can call it at any time. I watched a piece that went over the reasons why they might want to call it in the fall, why they might want to go ahead and call it here in the spring and get it over with. Why they might want to wait until the absolute last possible minute. So there's a whole lot of things at play. However, the disheartening thing about Labor picking up that many seats is that Labor ain't looking too labory. Labor in the last 10 years has done a lot to cull their progressive wing, and that really sucks.
Where these greatest hits have failed before, and to try to exploit that again to make sure that we can win the next election. But mostly it's just silly, and I think everyone kind of likes the artists that he likes.
Oh, she humanized him, Greg.
Oh, how dare you? By the way, you want to know, Joe's listening to Living on a Prayer.
Popular song.
The band he most identifies with.
I asked Battle Opossum because I knew what his favorite Bon Jovi song was. I asked him what his second favorite Bon Jovi song was, and he said Living on a Prayer. So that's my best friend, and he loves him some Bon Jovi. So I would think that makes Joe Biden kind of cool, doesn't it?
Come on, man.
I get the joke you were going for, though, Gutfeld.
With his Grateful Dead. One thing I think we learned,
I didn't know that.
one of the things I felt I learned from this list is that it's real.
Yeah.
As opposed to the whole Obama one was always curated. Everything was like picked. Oh, is this going to make him seem cool? We got to have something like soulful
And
from
from
the
each group.
mid-70s. And we got to have some from something hip. And he doesn't even know, like, he doesn't listen to Radiohead. He listens to the Black Eyed Peas. I hate the Black Eyed Peas. So anyway, at least this is real. Having said that, I learned he has terrible taste in music.
I know you
I do not trust a world leader who doesn't have Slayer.
Okay, what? Is Gutfeld a Radiohead fan? Because that's going to be kind of weird to me.
Or Melvins or the Misfits on their playlist. He didn't even have the Ramones. The stuff there is the sappy, saccharine stuff you hear right before you're going to get your teeth cleaned. Everything on that list. But on an up note, it says something about him that almost everything he listens to is positive or uplifting. Yeah. So he's not voluntarily inserting negative content into his brain, which is what almost every person does with music. It's like there's no Smiths or Nine Inch Nails, and there's a message here. Music can affect your mood and your well-being. You look at goths, right? They're depressed. But have you ever seen a depressed person listening to reggae? Ever? Why do you think that is,
They're all
Dana?
high. Right.
You know what? That stereotype, Jessica, is the reason why people think you're a racist.
Oh, Jessica! Take it back, Jessica.
I demand you apologize to our Jamaican friends.
Yes.
This is amazing.
Jamaica, we'd like to issue a formal apology. Not all of you are high.
I will apologize.
I'm high. I'm not high enough for this.
She said some of you are high. Again, we have to apologize. Sorry, Jessica. Better just maybe you don't speak for the rest of the show. Ahead, America's equity mafia is now discriminating against gifted white and Asian students. Click here.
I bet they are. I bet they are, Jesse Waters. These right-wingers and their DEI crusade. I'm not high enough for this shit. Everybody get high. I don't remember what I was going to play next. We got to do the Truth Social. Truth Social went public last week. It is bombing. Bombing now. First of all, we're going to start off with Trump suing the founders of Truth Social, apparently trying to wrestle control from it. They were two apprentice contestants. They suggested to Trump to start his own social media company after getting banned from Twitter.
To the general election now, you're looking at it live. Former President Donald Trump speaking in Green Bay, Wisconsin, his second stop in the upper Midwest as he's trying to punch through the so-called blue wall. In a state Mr. Trump lost last time around by just about 20,000 votes. And Donald Trump's kind of playing catch up here. He's hardly campaigned since he became the presumptive Republican nominee back in early March. Compare that to President Biden, who's been all over the map since Super Tuesday. Look at his stops here. President Biden often going after former President Trump and his fellow Republicans on an issue that Democrats think will be illuminating come November, and that is the issue of abortion access. In just the last couple of hours, in response to a question from our own Gabe Gutierrez, Mr. Trump is going to really get into this sometime soon, this abortion debate. Listen.
President, do you support the 6-week abortion ban that the Florida Supreme Court just upheld?
We're going to make a statement next week.
Oh, he's made several statements on abortion in the past,
Ron Hilliard is joining,
including bragging about overturning Roe v. Wade.
He is traveling with the former president, covering him in Wisconsin. Okay, so Vaughn, you heard Donald Trump there say he's going to address abortion next week. And I know you've got to use, I think, your golf whispers. You're in the room here. President Biden is already responding to this from his campaign account, basically saying, well, wait a second, Donald Trump, you've already made your statement. Explain the back and forth here.
Right. The issue here is that Donald Trump has not been specific about exactly what type of legislation he believes should be put into effect, not only at the federal level, but also at the state level. He has not definitively said that he is opposed to a national abortion ban. And yet at the state level, he has not articulated exactly what type of legislation in terms of whether it be 6 weeks or 15 weeks that he would support. And that is where the question around 6 weeks, which is the current law in the state of Florida, is so pertinent, because Donald Trump is a Florida resident himself here. And Donald Trump here is suggesting that he will be making a statement. But you mentioned that tweet by Joe Biden, the current president, just a few moments ago, saying that Donald Trump had already made his position very clear. And that is the fact that none of this would be a conversation if it weren't for Donald Trump, and the fact that he nominated 3 conservatives to the U.S. Supreme Court who helped overturn Roe v. Wade in the summer of 2022. And Donald Trump, not only in that social media post from last year that you're looking at, but repeatedly on the campaign trail has told crowds that he takes credit for overturning Roe v. Wade, and that legislation at the federal or state level would not even be possible without him. And so that is where the clear line is from the Biden, not only the White House, but also the campaign, which issued a new TV ad here just today on the issue. And they intend to make it very clear to the American public at large, which a majority of the country, per polling, is supportive of women's reproductive rights, Hallie.
There's also some news tonight in just the last hour or so that Mr. Trump is apparently suing 2 co-founders of Truth Social. Why?
If I was president...
This is complicated. He is suing them, suggesting that they did not properly set up the business in the proper way. They have about 8% stake in the company.
Did not properly set up the business in the proper way.
When you're looking at the millions of dollars at play here, this is where it could become significant. This is its first week being traded on the stock exchange. And just yesterday alone, Donald Trump watched the value of the company drop by about 20%, which has a value of about $1 billion. And he is prevented from selling his stake in the company for at least 6 months. And there is a chance that this meme stock could significantly drop. And at a
he called it a meme stock.
His financial circumstances, potentially even tied to the sell or the ability to sell Truth Social, the extent to which he can have a greater share of the company under his name is imperative for him. And that's clearly a part of this lawsuit, Hallie.
Vaughn Hilliard live for us there in Green Bay, right in the thick of it.
Yeah, Vaughn. And there's also the story of 2 brothers pleading guilty to insider trading regarding Truth Social. 2 Florida brothers pled guilty on Wednesday to insider trading charges, admitting making over $22 million illegally before the public announcement in 2021 that an acquisition firm is taking former President Donald Trump's media company public. Michael and Gerald Sharfstman entered their pleas to a single count of securities fraud, Manhattan Federal Court. Judge Lewis J. Lemon set sentencing for July 17th. The men said they knew they were committing a crime when they made trades in October of 2021 through a New York broker buying shares of Digital World Acquisition Corp., a so-called blank check company designed to take another company public without an IPO. The pair had been tipped off that Digital World had planned to merge with Trump Media and Technology, whose main asset is the social media network Truth Social. In October 2021, shares of Digital World soared more than 800% after the deal with Trump Media was announced. Said several times, we are a few years away from the fraud investigation dealing with Truth Social. The dude is in a shit ton of trouble. Trump. It fell another 13% today, apparently. So Donald, you are not a good businessman. I guess we will go to Biden meeting with happening earlier today. The White House starting to change its tune somewhat. We saw the hot mic moment during the State of the Union. I read from the Times of Israel. President tells Prime Minister Netanyahu he wants concrete steps announced and implemented to address humanitarian crisis, protect aid workers, and says immediate ceasefire is essential to those ends. U.S. President Joe Biden indicated to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu during a Thursday phone call that Washington's policy regarding the war in Gaza will fundamentally change if Israel. Remember, this is after we approved what was it, $8 million worth of bombs earlier today. Did I get that number right? I'm probably off. We signed off on thousands of more bombs. I don't see a number here. After 7 aid workers from the World Central Kitchen. Israel says they weren't intentionally targeted, but bullshit. Biden made clear the need for Israel to announce and implement a series of specific, concrete, and measurable steps to address civilian harm, humanitarian suffering, and the safety of aid workers. This is according to a White House readout after the leaders held their first call since the accidental IDF strike on a world... Remember, this is the Times of Israel. It was not accidental. I refuse to believe that this was accidental. These were kilometers apart, miles apart for those of you in the United States. These were cars that had World Central Kitchen clearly marked on the top, and they were coordinating their location with the IDF. So fuck off. It was not accidental. Made clear that U.S. policy with respect to Gaza will be determined by our assessment of Israel's immediate action on these steps. They're not going to complete that port. World Central Kitchen is pulled out of Gaza. Are there any aid groups in Gaza left? That was the point. That's what Israel was trying to do. That's what kinds of concrete steps the White House would like to see from Israel. Kirby said the opening of additional crossings and an increase in the number of aid trucks getting into Gaza would be a start. It would be a start? Saying that he expected Israel would announce new reforms in the coming hours and days. The U.S. readout didn't elaborate on how Biden might shift his policy regarding the war, but an increasing number of Democrats are pushing for the White House to begin conditioning U.S. aid to Israel or withhold it altogether. For the love of God. There are many people in the very State Department, this very U.S. government, that believe that we are violating our very U.S. law by continuing to support Israel. the chef, one of the coordinators for World Central Kitchen, I believe is the head chef, he says the IDF systematically targeted them.
Strained tensions between the U.S. and Israel ahead of a Thursday call between President Biden and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The president says he is, quote, outraged and heartbroken after an Israeli airstrike killed 7 aid workers in Gaza Monday. Netanyahu said tragedies like this, quote, happen in war. An Israeli military spokesperson says the aid convoy was wrongly identified as hostile targets. The leader of the World Central Kitchen, the aid group that was hit, disagrees. He says they were systematically targeted. CBS News senior foreign correspondent Holly Williams reports.
So this was not just a bad luck situation where, we dropped the bomb in the wrong place.
The 7 World Central Kitchen aid workers killed by Israel's military in Gaza were targeted systematically car by car, according to the group's founder, the award-winning Spanish-American chef Jose Andres. Speaking on Israeli television, he broke down.
I've been in Gaza myself. I met, and some of the people that died were my friends, and I served with them.
The bodies of the 6 foreign team members were transported out of Gaza today. World Central Kitchen has identified one of them as Jacob Flickinger, a 33-year-old dual US-Canadian citizen. Israel's military has vowed to investigate what it called a, quote, grave mistake.
It was a mistake that followed.
Speaking of U.S. citizens killed by the IDF that the U.S. sat by and did nothing about, it was like the 2-year anniversary of the killing of journalist Abu Akleh a couple days ago. Yeah, fuck you, Israel.
A misidentification at night during a war in a very complex conditions.
That suggests the aid workers were mistaken for militants. But World Central Kitchen says it was coordinating its movements with the Israeli military. Andres says his team tried to call the military even as they came under fire, with team members moving from the first car after it was hit to the second, which was also hit, and then the third, leaving all 7 dead. All 3 cars appear to have been targeted with precision strikes. CBS News has geolocated the wreckage to positions several hundred yards apart. President Biden said,
"How was that an accident? Tell me that's a fucking... No! You can fuck all the way off. You legitimately targeted aid workers. This is the bazillionth war crime Israel has committed that we have seen with our own eyes in real time. It's absurd. And they've been doing it long before October 7th. We have covered it here on this very show. We are coming up on the 4th anniversary. We've covered tragedy after tragedy that the IDF, we accidentally shot a journalist. We accidentally shot a doctor. Fuck off.
Yesterday, he's outraged by the deaths of the aid workers, and U.S. relations with Israel appear increasingly strained. But he didn't answer this question today from CBS News' Weijia Jiang.
Accountable for the World Central Kitchen strike, Mr. President.
It's not just World Central Kitchen that suspended its operations in Gaza. Another American nonprofit, ANERA, says it's also pausing its work there. And the United Nations says it's temporarily suspended its movements at night. John.
Holly Williams in Tel Aviv, thank you. And Nancy Cordes joins us now from the White House. Nancy, as we heard in Holly's piece, Chef Jose Andres said his workers were, quote, targeted systematically. How's the White House or administration responding to that?
The White House is not
embracing that theory, John. In fact, they said today that they haven't seen anything yet to indicate that this was something other than a mistake, as the Israelis have said, but they are calling on Israel to do a swift and thorough investigation to get to the bottom of how this happened. Beyond that, they are calling on the IDF to develop better protocols, better coordination for deconfliction, as it's known, so that they can convey to all of their forces when humanitarian aid workers are on the move, so they aren't targeted like these workers were the other day. The problem is, John, that...
Thank you, CBS, for rightfully reporting it. They were targeted.
The State Department and other U.S. officials have been making this argument to the Israelis for months now, and incidents like this continue to happen.
Our Margaret Brennan, our colleague, spoke with a Palestinian-American doctor who walked out of a Ramadan event with President Biden Tuesday to protest the handling of the U.S. position on the situation in Gaza. Let's listen to what he said.
There's no way, there's no alternative. There is no safe way to do this. It would be an absolute massacre if there's an invasion into Rafah. And then I asked to be excused out of respect for my community, who's mourning, who's grieving. And I handed him a letter from an 8-year-old. Her name is Hadid. She's an orphan and she's in Rafah right now. And basically she said she was begging the president not to invade.
So obviously the president is not the one invading Rafah, but he has denounced the invasion, but still, even with all of this that's going on, is there any chance that there would be a shift in the White House stance towards Israel at all?
So far, they have rejected every suggestion, John, that they're ready to place any kind of restrictions on U.S. aid or even to stop U.S. military aid to Israel. In fact, there is more weaponry heading to Israel soon. The reason for that, White House officials say, is pretty simple. They say that Israel is the greatest U.S. ally in the region, that the U.S. continues to be very invested in Israel's security, and that Israel has the right.
Now, how does that make Saudi Arabia feel when they hear the U.S. say that? Israel is our greatest ally in the region. Saudi Arabia is right there. Who do you think has been buying our politicians for the last 50 years, 60 years? Who do you think has been supplying the oil to the United States up until the last couple of decades?
Right to defend itself. Now, there is a major wild card here, and that is Congress. Democrats in particular.
Who do you think financed 9/11?
Growing angrier over Israel's conduct in this war, particularly after this most recent tragedy. So could it make it more difficult to get aid to Israel through Congress, through the House and the Senate? It absolutely could.
Nancy Cordes for us at the White House. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy. It is WrestleMania weekend. How am I going to tie the Israel-Palestine, the Israeli massacre of Palestinians? I almost did some newspeak there. Into WrestleMania. We're going to read from the Allgemeiner. I have no clue what this publication is, but it is apparently accusing a man that you may not think is Muslim by the name of Sami Zayn, a WWE superstar, accused him of promoting a false anti-Israel, anti-Zionist narrative. These nuts. So these assholes are saying that Sami Zayn is being anti-Zionist is cool. We're down with that. Quesadilla, good evening. Canadian professional wrestler Remy Sebi, one of the biggest stars in the WWE who performs under the ring name Sami Zayn, has regularly been liking anti-Semitic, anti-Israel, and anti-Zionist posts. Now, I take issue with the fact that they're saying that they were anti-Semitic. You'll see for yourselves here in just a second. The pro-Palestinian athlete, who is of Syrian descent, will challenge fellow wrestler Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 40 on Saturday. A match I'm very much looking forward to. Gunther versus Sami Zayn will be excellent. I don't expect Sami to win. I expect Sami to make Gunther look like $1 million. The Allgemeiner discovered that Zayn follows an account on Twitter that shares daily anti-Semitic and anti-Zionist content, including comparisons between Zionists and Nazis. Where the shoe fits, and false accusations about Israel. The account is run by an anti-Zionist Hebrew, according to its bio. So, it's run by a Jewish person who is an anti-Zionist. I think that kind of shoots down the idea of anti-Semitic. Throughout several posts this week, Israel has been described as a terrorist country. It is. And liberal Zionism equated with the murdering of Palestinians. Should be. On Monday, the account shared a video of soldiers from the Israeli Defense Forces kicking around a ball and wrote in the caption, "Israeli soldiers have some genocide fun in Gaza playing with a football, most likely looted from displaced murdered Palestinians." I mean, true. Zayn also liked a video on Twitter that showed comedian actor Rami Youssef saying on March 30th during his opening monologue on Saturday Night Live, "God, please stop the suffering, stop the violence, please free the people of Palestine, please." So that is what gets accused of anti-Semitism now. Liking the video of Rami Youssef saying, "God, please stop the suffering, stop the violence, please free the people of Palestine." That is anti-Semitic, apparently. Motherfucker. Whoever wrote this needs a titty slap.
Titty slap!
Come on, now.
Let's do a couple of hard stories here. I'm sorry, I'm gonna hit the content warning. I think both of them happened in Oklahoma. I think both these stories happened in Oklahoma. Oklahoma begins 2024 executions with the death of Michael Dwayne Smith. Smith's execution draws attention to the disproportion of capital punishment among black people, drug users, and those with intellectual disabilities. Oklahoma returned to its state-sanctioned killing spree with the execution Thursday of 41-year-old black man Michael Dwayne Smith. Smith's execution comes after Oklahoma resumed the death penalty in 2021, which had been on pause for nearly 6 years, and arranged the execution dates for 25 people. Its last execution was 4 months ago on November 30th. The lethal injection of Smith, who had been on death row for about 20 years, highlights the concerns about the overlap of the death penalty with issues of blackness, drug use, and intellectual disability. According to media witnesses, Smith was pronounced dead at about 10:20 a.m. Central Time. Thought we might have a video. Smith declined to provide his last words in the execution chamber, but he told HuffPost on Tuesday that he was innocent, and that inconsistencies with his confession were not adequately addressed. At the time, Smith said he was staying in good spirits for the most part, and was given good given the circumstances. Reverend Jeff Hood, his spiritual advisor, told HuffPost that Smith was tearful, minutes before and during the execution process, but added that a tear fell from Smith's right eye after he appeared to be dead. What happened today was unnecessary. Oklahoma is going to be no different this afternoon than it was this morning. No safer. The only thing that is going to be is less ethical. Smith had been linked to 3 murders. He was sentenced to the death for the February 2002 killings of Janet Moore, Sareth Pullaroo. He had been sentenced to life in prison for the killing of Otis Payne in 2001. Smith initially gave a confession in the deaths of Moore and Pullaroo, but he has since said that he is innocent and can't remember committing the crimes. At the time of his arrest, Smith said he killed Moore when he was looking to kill her son, Philip Zachary, because she reacted loudly when he broke into their home. Smith reportedly then went to a convenience store and shot Pullaroo, a store clerk, 9 times, and lighted his body on fire. And that's why are both of these stories from Oklahoma both about getting lit on fire? Smith was reportedly looking to kill a different store clerk who had told a newspaper reporter about being proud of a co-worker who had killed a member of a gang Smith was associated with during a 2001 armed robbery. Another gang member killed the store clerk during the robbery. A jury convicted Smith in 2003 of first-degree burglary, 2 counts of first-degree murder, robbery with firearms, and arson in the first degree. The jury sentenced him to death for the murder conviction. Since then, 2 of the trial witnesses have recanted parts of their testimony, saying that police officers and the trial judge coerced them. Not surprising. Smith has claimed that that he was under the influence of a hallucinogen known as PCP. He said he does not remember committing the crimes, being arrested, or confessing. I have no memory of my actual arrest or my interrogation. It took me a few weeks after I was in county jail to actually come to, so I don't have any memory or any recollection. He argued that beyond his confession, there was not enough evidence to prove he committed the crimes. Earlier this year, Smith's attorneys filed a motion requesting DNA testing. The District Court of Oklahoma denied the motion, arguing that Smith failed to demonstrate a reasonable probability that he would not have been convicted if DNA testing is conducted and yields favorable results. What? Our judicial system, man. Fuck. On March 6th, Smith sought a clemency recommendation from the Oklahoma Pardon and Parole Board in an effort to spare his life. I didn't commit these crimes. I didn't kill these people, Smith told the board in a tearful video call, according to the Associated Press. I was high on drugs. I don't even remember getting arrested. Amy Ellie, first Assistant Attorney General of Oklahoma, argued at the hearing that Smith did kill the 3 people and that he should be executed, according to the nonprofit news outlet Frontier. Michael Dwayne Smith has taken multiple lives and has expressed the desire to kill others. Even in a highly restricted area of the prison, Smith has managed to create weapons. One of Smith's attorneys, Mark Henriksen, argued at the hearing that executing Smith would not be adequate justice. Their relatives remain silent, and the only practical difference will be that the Smith family will join them in grief. The totality of the suffering will increase tenfold. The board denied a clemency recommendation by a vote of 4-1. A petition with thousands of signatures organized by Death Penalty Action was brought to Republican Governor Kevin Stitt on Wednesday, demanding he stop Smith's execution. On Thursday, Attorney General Gentner Drummond released a statement about Smith's execution with quotes from the victim's family. I think I'll leave it at that. No. We're leaving out the part where apparently Smith has intellectual disability, and that is why his execution was unethical. Though Smith's attorneys have argued he is intellectually disabled, his IQ results have landed from 71 to 79. Below 70 is considered to be an intellectual disability. He scored just too high on the test to be considered intellectually disabled. Oh well, let's kill him. What a fucking... I promise you, this is the last hard story we're doing tonight. Taking anymore. This is also happening in Oklahoma. Let me get the story first. I'll hit you with the story before we do the... They got the body cam video in the story. Again, this is gonna be tough to watch. Extra content warning. Happened in Oklahoma. A man being evicted by the cops.
Gas. Ready?
No. You stop! Hey, hey, hey! No, hey!
Disturbing body cam video shows the moment a man doused his home in gasoline, then ignited the fire that killed him. Thanks for joining us. I'm Carl Torp.
And I'm Amanda Taylor. Deputies were serving an eviction notice when things took a turn for the tragic. News 9 Sylvia Corkill breaks down this story. And Sylvia, some of that video, it is hard to watch.
Amanda, Carl, it certainly is. Deputies had been working with that elderly couple for weeks, trying to find them a new place to live. Now, an Uber was waiting in their driveway to take them there when a fire inside their home suddenly erupted. Oklahoma County deputies were at this home Monday serving an eviction notice.
Okay, I'll help you.
Okay, wait.
While helping an elderly woman out of the home.
Our deputies were tending to an elderly female handicapped who suffers from Parkinson's.
Her 82-year-old husband, Anthony
And you're gigging her out on the street.
Golding caught the attention of deputies.
Gas.
Armed with a gas can and lighter.
No. You stop! Hey, hey, hey! No, hey! No!
The deputy pushing Golding to the ground in an attempt to keep him from lighting the fire, but it's too late.
Dispatch,
On fire, Golding hurls the gas can at one of the deputies. The hall erupts into flames, the deputy's feet momentarily on fire as she runs into the other room where she calls for more help. With the fire growing, the two deputies desperately work to get the woman to safety. Neighbors looking on in shock.
I don't know, the first thing I thought was about his soul, so we just prayed for him. We were just talking with a couple other people down the street of how we really just need to be checking in on our neighbors more and really making sure that people know that they're not alone.
Now we're told the deputies were not injured, but understandably were traumatized.
Who gives a fuck?
Went home to gather their bearings. Live in Oklahoma City, Sylvia Corkill, Oklahoma.
Oh, well, thank God the cops had to go home to gather their bearings. Fuck off. Jesus.
Eviction notice when things took a turn for the tragic. News 9 Sylvia Corkill breaks down this story. And Sylvia, some of that video, it is hard to watch.
Amanda, Carl, it certainly is. Deputies had been working with that elderly couple for weeks, trying to find them a new place to live. Now, an Uber was waiting in their driveway to take them there when a fire inside their home suddenly erupted. Oklahoma County deputies were at this home Monday serving an eviction notice.
They make it sound so, they were just going to take them somewhere else to live. Their stuff is not packed. Where are you going to... Have they been in this house for years? Where are you taking them to?
Okay, I'll help you.
Wait.
While helping an elderly woman out of the home,
Our deputies were tending to an elderly female handicapped who suffers from Parkinson's.
her 82-year-old husband, Anthony Golding, caught the attention of deputies. Armed with a gas can and lighter.
You stop! Hey! No!
The deputy pushing Golding to the ground in an attempt to keep him from lighting the fire, but it's too late.
Dispatch,
On fire, Golding hurls the gas can at one of the deputies. The hall erupts into flames, the deputy's feet momentarily on fire as she runs into the other room where she calls for more help. With the fire growing, the two deputies desperately work to get the woman to safety. Neighbors looking on in shock.
I don't know, the first thing I thought was about his soul, so we just prayed for him. Really, we were just talking with a couple other people down the street of how we really just need to be checking in on our neighbors more and really making sure that people know that they're not alone.
The deputies are okay. One was a cutie, so like, ACAB means the cutie deputy with the booty too. But also like, I can fix her. God, I'm horrible. I'm a horrible person. I'm sorry. I would cancel Justin. Sexual anarchy.
You live in sexual anarchy?
You're probably right, DJ Dub. They would have pulled their guns on the elderly man that set himself on fire. Had been like a white cop with a white cop with one of those like real short buzz cuts. I'm done with hard news for the night. We're not doing any more of that shit. Well, I mean, this is hard news and also tragic. I get that. Fucking fuck. We're not gonna do any more hard news tonight. Yeah. I guess this is pretty tragic, but like, it's a tragedy in nature, not a failing of our dystopian system. Taiwan hit with a 7.5 magnitude earthquake. There are insane videos from multiple locations. I've seen from the hospital. There's a building that Gartic, what is up, my friend? Welcome. Gonna see the you want to argue? What do you want to argue about? Let me see if I can get Discord to open. I'll hop in the voice channel if you want to argue. My desktop app has not been opening here lately, and it does not look like it's going to open. So I don't know what's going on with Discord. But if you would like to call in, we can make that happen. 917-830-4359. My apologies for no Discord right now. I don't know what is up with my computer. There's a couple of different things that are weird. I'm just going to reformat my hard drive. I just haven't had the chance to do it. Want to give us a call, 917-830-4359. You can argue with me. The chat might actually welcome it. Not high enough for this shit. Till then, we will check out the aftermath of the earthquake in Taiwan.
In Taiwan are looking for dozens of people who are still missing after the island was hit by its strongest earthquake of this century. At least 10 people were killed, and serious damage is reported all around Taiwan. Ian Lee is
we're only a quarter way through the century, so, come on.
Tracking the intense rescue effort.
Commuters were traveling to work when the 7.4 magnitude earthquake struck Taiwan Wednesday. Boulders came crashing down.
Holy fuck!
Hitting one car and nearly avoiding another. Rescue crews now search for survivors. Over 1,000 have been injured, while more than 100 are still missing, many among the island's mountains. Up a remote valley, a drone discovered these miners stuck on a cliff. Landslides wiped out all the roads. But the epicenter witnessed the most severe damage. CBS's partner, the BBC, is on the ground.
This building is one of them that partially collapsed during yesterday's quake. You can see it's leaning over at a very precarious angle. They're worried
boy howdy
shock could bring the whole building down, so they are reinforcing the base there to stabilize it while operations to go inside and search the building carry on.
The tremor struck as children started their school day. American Kevin Geiger's 8-year-old daughter was in class.
The teacher said, go under the table, go under the table.
So when the earth started shaking, did you know exactly what to do?
Because we had the orange, the hat in our desk, so we took it out and put it on your head.
And I was really happy that she was, like she said, being calm and not freaking out, right?
Important not to freak out, right, Claire?
Yeah.
Claire is a brave little girl, and this morning Taiwan is still experiencing more aftershocks. Claire told me she's not scared because her school taught her what to do. Gail?
Yeah, lesson well learned. You go, Claire. Thank you, Ian.
Crews in Taiwan are searching for survivors from yesterday's massive earthquake.
That's right, emergency workers. This is the good news. They found dozens of survivors stranded in a tunnel. Unfortunately, though, there are more people still missing at this hour. The 7.4 magnitude quake killed at least 10 people, injured more than 1,000. Officials say roughly 50 residential buildings there are damaged. CBS News foreign correspondent Ian Lee is following all of this for us from our London bureau. Ian, what more can you tell us about the search and rescue efforts still underway?
Yeah, Errol, right now, a lot of the rescue operations are focused in the mountains. Dozens of people are still missing there after that strongest quake in decades. And we've seen search teams scouring through landslides looking for missing hikers. One video shows rescue crews walking through a valley as rocks were still falling. Another showed miners stranded on a cliff after the tremor destroyed roads leading to them. Rescuers are also trying to clear these roads and tunnels to get to
keep those miners away from P. Diddy.
People are trapped at remote hotels. And of course, they're still looking for the dead. As you pointed out, 10 people have tragically been killed.
But given what we're seeing there, Ian, 10 people killed actually seems like a smaller number than people might expect. I mean, those roads completely wiped out, buildings on their side. How was Taiwan prepared for this earthquake?
Alana, let me give you a stark comparison between a country that is prepared and a country that isn't.
Brother, I have no clue what MAGA Joshin Peeper is. I have no idea what you're talking about. I know what a Jordan Peterson is. Is that what you're trying to say?
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
You think you understand? I sure as fuck don't understand. Let's talk about March Madness is going on. March Madness is going on. Was that what he was getting ready to say? I was assuming he was going to talk about building codes. This NCAA hoops coach might be violating her players' religious freedom. Staley is an incredible coach, but experts, including the Freedom from Religion Foundation, suggest her daily proselytizing may violate her players' constitutional rights. The University of South Carolina's women's basketball team beat Oregon State on Easter Sunday to secure their 4th straight trip to the Final Four and continue their undefeated season. The Gamecocks. The Gamecocks.
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
The game. Sorry. I swear, I'll get it together. Gamecocks coach Dawn Staley, not to be confused with former Alice in Chains lead singer Lane Staley. Down in a hole. Gave an on-court interview to ESPN's Holly Rowe while her players showered her with confetti. If you don't believe in God, Staley said, something's wrong with you. Well, fuck you, lady. I already don't like you. Later in the post-game press conference, she added, he is risen. By he, Staley meant Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Maybe it is a relative of Lane Staley. I'm sorry. Staley meant Jesus Christ, the God she is credited throughout the years for her team's many successes. But there was something about her statements this time that seemed to hit a different chord, particularly Staley's phrasing that there was something wrong with people who don't believe in a higher power of some kind. Though in Black American vernacular, that phrase is often not used literally. It's not uncommon to hear athletes or coaches thank God after winning a game or a championship, but as an employee of a public educational institution, there's a fine line between a coach expressing their personal religious beliefs and venturing into advocacy and violating students' First Amendment rights. But I mean, we've got a Supreme Court that 100% is not going to side with the students on this one. If like, say, the Freedom from Religion Foundation were to try to bring a suit on behalf of the students, would eventually get to the Supreme Court and get shot down. Staley has towed that line for years, and according to some people, has blatantly crossed it. She may have coaching skills that are exceptional, but her understanding of freedom of conscience is exceptionally bad. Her understanding of the law is exceptionally bad. This is according to Annie Lori Gaylor, co-president of the Freedom from Religion Foundation, and they are telling the Daily Beast she appears to have no boundaries when it comes to pushing religion on a captive audience of students dying to please her. Staley is currently the best and arguably the best-known coach in women's college basketball. In 2021, she signed a historic contract extension for 7 years and $22.4 million. Oh my God! And this bitch out here talking to us about Jesus. Let me tell you, ma'am, what Jesus said about a rich man getting into heaven. More likely that a camel will pass through the eye of a needle. Jesus said to give everything you own to the poor. But you make $22 million. The highest paid women's basketball coaches in the country. Coaches make far too much fucking money. Could be one of the reasons why she has a distorted sense of self-worth. Absolutely useless to society, but makes $22.4 million. Her leadership, the University of South Carolina women's basketball team has won 2 national championships, 2017 and 2022. They won each of their first 2 games of this year's tournament by more than 40 points. Many people's favorite to win it all. Staley is beloved by her players who rave about the culture of her team, and she's had an outsized impact on the sport. She's known for her strong faith and called the team's 2022 championship divinely, I was going to say ordained, but she's saying divinely ordered. Like Jesus is up here in a short order kitchen. Give me a cock national championship. Last week, ahead of the Cock's first game of the tournament, Staley said her team's level of preparation earned them divine favor. Her personal religious views are not an issue, of course. However, they may begin to become one when applied to her coaching duties at a public university. Staley has team meals before each game, which include a game day devotional that she also posts to social media. The devotional features a photo of the team, the name of their opponent, and a Bible verse. This year's March Madness tournament, those have included Psalm 143:8. Let the morning bring me word of your unfailing love, for I have put my trust in you. Show me the way I should go, for to you I entrust my life. Jeremiah 31:3, I have loved you with an everlasting love. On the back of the papers is an inspirational quote from the University of South Carolina WBB alum. And in the corner, one more thing. Jesus versus opponent, with Jesus being her team. Well, that's weird. Takes away from the glory. It takes away the glory from the players and their talents and skills, and it makes it seem like the other team is disfavored by this omnipotent deity, according to the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Agreed. Since we're talking about faith here, past Sunday was Easter Sunday. Here we go. We're going to go to WKRN News out of Nashville.
A Bible burning on Easter Sunday could turn into a hate crime investigation. Someone burned a trailer full of Bibles near the Global Vision Church near Mount Juliet. News 2's Nikki McGee has more from the pastor.
Now, if Global Vision Church sounds familiar to you, that's because that is the church of Pastor Greg Locke. We've played many a video from Greg Locke here on this show, including him destroying what was apparently not a Barbie house and had nothing to do with a Barbie movie. I was wrong in the video, one of my most viewed videos on YouTube. This motherfucker taking a bat with a Bible wrapped around it, destroying some kind of playhouse, a doll playhouse. I will put money on it. I bet he set the fire himself.
And also asks whether this could have been in retaliation to the church burning books.
I think the fact that they chose to do that on Easter, the Bible, was very in your face.
Pastor Greg Locke with Global Vision Bible Church says he feels targeted. Sunday morning, he recounts surveillance footage showing a trailer full of Bibles. He estimates roughly 200 being driven to the intersection in front of his church, doused with gasoline and lit on fire. His security team would not share the video with us, saying they didn't want to compromise the investigation.
I think they knew that we were going to have an extra barrage of people that were going to be here visiting from all over the country, and so, it blocked the main entrance to the church. And so it was unfortunate. We get a lot of pushback, we get a lot of hate for some of our religious and political stands, but to see, the Bible disrespected that way was a little unfortunate.
And perhaps
this motherfucker is one of the biggest media hounds there is. He loves attention. Attention whore. That's exactly what Pastor Greg Locke is. That's why I believe he probably did it himself.
not just disrespect. The Wilson County Sheriff's Office tells News 2 they're looking into whether this was a hate crime. That will depend on if they find that this was a, quote, bias-motivated act. News 2 asked Pastor Locke about
I'll put money on it
at the church, including Harry Potter books, and if he thinks that could have played a role.
State law of Tennessee says that a church that would deem something occultic, they're able to, burn it. And so people hear book burning. Books were...
There's a state law. It says you're allowed to burn Harry Potter if you deem it part of the occult. That's wild. But it's a hate crime if you burn a bunch of Bibles in front of their church.
The minimal amount of what we burned. It was Ouija boards, it was charms and statues and amulets and all type of things that people wanted to separate from, that they would see as to be witchcraft in their life. And those books would have been involved in that.
Locke says his church has held roughly 4 of these events, mostly around Halloween. However, he says he doesn't think it justifies burning Bibles.
People, they threaten us on a regular basis, and Satanists and people that claim to be witches and warlocks come with satanic Bibles in our church. And so I don't know if it was some type of retaliation. I just think it was unfortunate, especially on Resurrection Sunday.
In Wilson County, Nikki McGee, News 2.
Well, Locke also does tell News 2 that FBI responded Sunday morning as part of the investigation. However, the FBI cannot confirm or deny their involvement.
Should I call the sheriff's office and be like, have you looked into Greg Locke? $615. Wilson County Sheriff's Office.
For the criminal investigations analyst, press 1. For the evidence technician, press 2. For narcotics, press 3.
I love some narcotics.
To dial a detective directly, press pound to enter by last name. If you're calling for another department, press 9 to return to the main menu.
Hi, you've reached Misty Christensen. I'm either on the phone or away from my desk. Leave me your name, number, and a brief message, and I'll get back to you. If you need to file a report, call 615-444-1412 and press option 0 for dispatch.
Please leave your message after the tone. When done, hang up or press the pound key.
Hey Misty, my name is JustinFREAKIN, and I was calling in regards to the Bible burning out in front of Pastor Greg Locke's church. Have you guys looked into Greg Locke? I would put money that attention whore actually burnt those Bibles in front of his own church. That would be the first place that is the most logical conclusion. Now, can you transfer me to the narcotics department? I would like to place an order. They probably have the best drugs. You have no clue. I did news for years, right? So, one time they took me into, this was the, I was at the Attorney General's office. And they took me into a room and showed me like wall-to-wall fucking drugs. And I'm like, can I have some? Can I have some? It's like the best drugs. Yeah, they probably got a lot of stomped on drugs too. Oh yeah, okay, fair enough. You're right. The sheriff's office probably has the shitty drugs. I was at the Attorney General's office. They had like a fucking drug task force. They had the good shit. Oh fuck. I'd like to place an order. Oh.
Yours
Oh God!
We'll see who cancels
I'm
who.
going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
My weed guy's a DJ. I thought about it the other day. I was like, I should ask him if he can get some DMT. He probably can. That's how I got it all the times I've done it. I was around the people in the EDM scene. Those motherfuckers always had it. I asked him to transfer me to the narcotics department to place an order. Oh yeah, DJ Dub, I bet you did used to party. It's in the name. Oh fuck. Can do some partying this week. This is like my vacation week, right? I got WrestleMania, then I got the concert. I'm gonna have a fucking blast. This might be the best week of my life. Sorry it doesn't include you guys in the Troll Patrol. But we are coming up on the fourth 20 anniversary celebration. Let's it's all about Fillet-O-fish. How long's it been since you guys had a Fillet-O-fish sandwich? I'm hungry already. I don't know if I'd eat a Fillet-O-fish, but Ray Fillet. So Newt Gingrich and Gutfeld are having an argument about the size of a Fillet-O-fish sandwich.
We were struck on Good Friday. We went by McDonald's and picked up Fillet-O-fish, which is now about half the size of the Fillet-O-fish before Biden.
Wasn't Joe Biden?
Biden's the reason the Fillet-O-fish sandwich is smaller.
Come on, man. Lying about this story. Remember he was talking about ice cream? He was talking about ice cream. How do you shrink ice cream in size? Like, don't they come in a pint?
Right.
It's like, how do you shrink a pint? And then when you open up a pint or a half gallon, it's always filled to the surface. Do you think they hollowed it out from the inside? I mean, the guy is so full of crap. No wonder he's called Dark Brandon.
Ice cream tubs used to be a half gallon, 2 quarts, then 1 3/4 quarts. They've now trimmed down to a svelte 1.5, because lately it's been the incredible shrinking everything.
So Gutfeld mentioned pints. So that's from Haagen-Dazs. It's 14 ounces. If it was a pint, it would be 16 ounces. This is another brand of ice cream, 14 ounces. A pint would be 16 ounces. Now, some brands still sell an actual pint. Ben & Jerry's sells an actual pint, but many don't. And then finally,
Stupid ass Gutfeld.
This is today. I took this picture. If this was a half gallon, it would say 2 quarts at the bottom there. Instead, it says 1.5 quarts. So shrinkflation is a thing. It's existed for decades.
However, McDonald's is denying Gutfeld's claim that the Fillet-O-fish is smaller. Or Gutfeld's claim I'm not seeing it. I was told that McDonald's responded and said that the Fillet-O-fish is the same size. But I'm not seeing that. Huh. Well, I cannot confirm that McDonald's said that the Fillet-O-fish is the same size. I actually got it from the Decoding Fox News. McDonald's has issued a statement that says the size of the sandwich hasn't changed in decades. So I don't know if that's true or not. I cannot verify it. Decoding Fox News says it. I looked it up. I did not see any statement from McDonald's about the size of the Fillet-O-fish sandwich. Not saying that it didn't happen, but I cannot verify it. So just throwing that out there. I have journalistic integrity. It was from years of doing news. It's just kind of ingrained in me. Have I ever told you guys, I love Roseanne. I caught up on the Connors the other day. I was hoping there was video of this. I don't know if there is, though. Roseanne Barr is no stranger to an unhinged rant, sharing offensive tweets and conspiracy-mongering comments about the Holocaust, Ukraine, former President Trump, and remarks at a Mar-a-Lago fundraiser for Kari Lake's Arizona Senate campaign were par for the course. Lake has spent the past few years seamlessly transitioning from trumpeting Trump's baseless claims of election fraud to her own baseless claims that the 2022 Arizona gubernatorial election was stolen from her. The reality is that her rhetoric and attacks on the late Senator John McCain hurt her with independent and moderate voters and even repelled a significant number of Republicans. So it's unsurprising that she's gotten enthusiastic endorsements from both Trump and Barr, who traveled to the ex-president's Palm Beach, Florida residence as a special guest comedian for a fundraiser for Lake last week. Barr, who was featured in a Fox Nation comedy special last year, made headlines for a tweet she posted a few days before the fundraising, before the fundraiser, promoting the great Kari Lake, adding that we must try to vote our way out of this for at least one last year, and then if that doesn't work, hashtag 1776. Lake shared Barr's tweet, writing, "I can't wait to see you." Video of Barr at the Lake event made the rounds. Yay! This is what we came for. So here we go from Patriot Takes. Here is the latest stand-up comedy special from legendary Roseanne Barr.
Hey, old bro. How are you doing? I'm here at Mar-a-Lago supporting Kari Lake, and it was a fantastic evening, and our Trump is here being the DJ, and I've just danced, and everyone's amazed. So I'm just going to say to you, please drop out of college because it's going to ruin your lives. Do me a favor, drop out. They don't teach you nothing good. Email me or Twitter me or whatever you call me, and I'll help you with your life, but you got to get out of college because it isn't nothing but devil-worshipping, baby blood-drinking Democrat donors. Love ya.
drop out of college because it's nothing but baby blood drinking Democratic donors. She says with a gigantic glass of wine in her hand. In front of a creepy ass portrait. Is that a portrait of Trump behind her?
Hey, old bro, how are you doing? I'm here at Mar-a-Lago supporting Carrie Lake, and it was a fantastic evening, and our Trump is here being the DJ, and I just danced, and everyone's amazed. So I'm just going to say to you, please drop out of college because it's going to ruin your lives. Do me a favor, drop out. They don't teach you nothing good.
That is Trump.
Email me or Twitter me or whatever you call me, and I'll help you with your life, but you've got to get out of college because it isn't nothing but devil-worshipping, baby blood-drinking Democrat donors. Love ya.
Oh my God, it's the creepiest fucking portrait of Trump. Chainsaw, good evening. Well, do not go to college. It is nothing but a bunch of baby blood drinking Democratic donors. You don't want to go. It is amazing to me that right-wing media has convinced people that medicine bad. Education bad. Pumpkin Spice, good evenings. Pumpkin Spice and I. Less than a week away from seeing Pussifer, a Perfect Circle, and Primus. Permissifer. A complete, perfect Persifer. She's insane now, and I hate it because I loved Roseanne.
They don't teach you nothing good. Email me or Twitter me or whatever you call me, and I'll help you with your life, but you've got to get out of college because it isn't nothing but devil-worshipping, baby blood-drinking Democrat donors. Love ya. Hey, old...
I mean, maybe she's got a point. I've been seeing what they've been doing in schools here lately. A longtime teacher has had to step down, not for worshiping Satan. Stepped down after school officials found her OnlyFans account. Which is a story that we keep covering here over and over again. A former teacher in Ohio was accused of conduct unbecoming of a professional educator and resigned from her position. She's now addressing the situation. Records show Jennifer Rosiska. Sticks, good evening. Who worked for the Springfield local school district for more than 20 years, resigned from teaching high school English after officials found out she was posting sexual content on her OnlyFans and Fansly accounts. Springfield local school superintendent Matt Geha submitted a report to the Ohio State Board of Education. Exactly! You know, they wouldn't have to resort to OnlyFans unless they wanted to. Some of them genuinely want to. And or like, you know, they get off on it. Totally cool. Support you. It shouldn't be an issue. This is like going forward, we're going to have to deal with the fact that, you know, everyone has nude pictures floating around out there. Everyone has sex tapes. Most people have sex tapes floating. Everyone has nudes. Most people have sex tapes. Warlord, why did everyone come in at this time? All at once, everybody showed up for the OnlyFans story and Roseanne. You missed the dude setting himself on fire. Oh, and me calling the Wilson County Sheriff's Department. That was great. I'm going to clip that and put it up on YouTube. I asked to be transferred to the narcotics department so I could place an order. The report showed the district learned she was operating the online content subscription pages. On January 26, school officials confirmed those allegations the following day. Get it, girl?
You live in sexual anarchy?
Gaha told her in an email that day that she would serve her with a pre-disciplinary notice on January 29th. A hearing was scheduled for January 31st, but she submitted her resignation on the 29th. Rizicki declined an interview, but released a statement to WTVG touting her performance as a teacher. I was honored to teach 9th grade English at SHS, where my service spanned nearly 3 decades, and during what is often a thankless job, I was recognized and awarded for my innovation, dedication, and performance. My reputation was exemplary as one who put her students first, went above and beyond expectations, and created an engaging learning environment where students knew they were valued, motivated, and loved. Sounds like they lost a good one, so I hope your puritanical values worked out well for you, that you lost a good educator. Something that is sorely fucking needed in this country. Understandably, that has led many to theorize why I elected to jeopardize a position I cherish so much. While disclosing specific details might offer a reasonable explanation to some, it would come at the cost of ruining the reputation of someone else. Enough damage has been done, and I am not comfortable bringing unwanted attention to anyone else and causing that individual to pay for it. In Harper Lee's novel To Kill a Mockingbird, Atticus Finch explains to his daughter, Scout, that you never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb inside of his skin and walk around in it. As I've always been one who stands in the shoes of others, I hope others will now stand in mine. It is not known if the State Board of Education's Office of Professional Conduct is considering revoking Rosiska's teaching license. They should not. Oh, wow. Rogersville teacher was voted best teacher nationally. Hell yeah. Rogersville sorely needing in good educators. Let's really wanted to do the fish story. Now let's do the fish story here. Hold on. Fish in Florida are apparently spinning themselves to death, and scientists are trying to figure out why.
Started diving when I was 8 years old with my mom, so I've been in the water for a very long time.
Greg Furstenworth has seen a lot in his life spent underwater around the Florida Keys, but he'd never seen anything like this.
I noticed the fish were spinning, and so I started taking video of that I really had no idea what I was looking at.
Since last fall, he's seen stingrays.
Well, here's another thing we can blame Joe Biden for.
Come on,
man. It didn't happen under Trump, motherfuckers. The fish weren't spinning.
It's moving upside down. Goliath groupers flailing on their sides, and dozens of other species swimming in tortured, flailing loops.
I'm just throwing it out there. Could it be because we're boiling the fucking oceans?
Well, I mean, I've said that, it's like I'm in the middle of a disaster movie and I'm that guy yelling from, the mountaintop trying to get people to pay attention.
State Fish and Wildlife officials and Florida's Bonefish and Tarpon Trust have logged nearly 200 incidents, with over 30 species acting this way, mostly in the lower Keys, but as far north as Miami.
Yeah, this is crazy. I was out on a 6-hour charter. I had 2 people on the boat, and we were down off a Ligman-Vitey bank, and we happened to see a fish floundering on the flats. And then so we got close to him. We wanted to see if there was a problem, and we could obviously tell that he was in distress.
He said ligma. Ligma what?
It turned out to be a sawfish, a critically endangered species that might lose 4 or 5 mature adults a year, but in just a few months, at least 27 have beached themselves or died after intense episodes of what anglers are calling the spins.
So typically when we think of fish acting strangely or dying, we either think of low oxygen conditions in the water or red tide. And so we saw neither.
At the water school at Florida Gulf Coast University, Mike Parsons' team is part of a statewide effort to solve the mystery of the spinning fish. And while tests for most toxins have turned up empty, the most promising suspect is found living off seaweed at the bottom, a tiny critter named Gambier discus.
This is the highest we've seen of the Gambier discus cells in the Keys. We don't know if it's the main cause.
The single-cell algae can produce various neurotoxins and is showing up at record high levels. But it's just one more stressor on marine life already reeling from pollution, overfishing, and off-the-charts ocean heat waves brought by climate change.
So there's concern and curiosity, I guess, on could the hot temperatures in the summer cause some changes that maybe led to the fish behavior now, and we just don't really have all the pieces together to try to link one to the other.
They really have no idea what is happening. I mean, there is no concrete, conclusive proof of what is happening yet, and that is still to be determined, which is quite terrifying.
It is scary, isn't it?
It is, because if it continues, it's going to be the end of this ecosystem as we know it.
Off-the-charts ocean temperatures are, of course, just one.
Well, wouldn't you know who won the pony? It is because we're boiling the oceans. We've had a lot of fun here tonight, but it's also been kind of disheartening. Very dystopian.
Off-the-charts ocean temperatures are, of course, just one of the massive stressors on marine life down here these days. There was a 3-year study recently in which 100% of the bonefish that were tested in the Keys turned up at least 7 different pharmaceuticals, from opioids to antidepressants. And so
we really are turning the freaking frogs gay. We're pumping them through full of chemicals. What the fuck? We're microplastics and drugs in the water.
So this behavior has not been seen before, but it is sort of an attack from 1,000 different angles for the creatures living down here, and may be a warning for the rest of us.
Maybe.
This isn't where.
I'm sorry, guys. I ran everybody off with the dystopian fish story. I'm gonna touch on this. Apparently this has been going on. Nobody knows about it. I wonder if producer Dave has talked about this, because this is kind of up his alley. And I love you for it, DJ Dub. Smokey's here too. Or you want to see Smokey? Come? Oh fuck, he left. He turned around. He hightailed it out. The way it was explained to me is we almost lost the internet last week. I don't know how accurate that is, but we're going to go to this tech blog. Going to explain it to us. This XZUtil's backdoor was discovered and threatened all Linux servers, which apparently had the ability to take down the entire internet. Smokey! DJ Dub confirming it was indeed a big deal. What if it was? Here's my thing though. If it was such a big deal as a lot of the geeky people on the Twitter are making it out to be, why is nobody in the news covering it? Why is there like no mainstream media coverage of what almost happened? Because as I said, the way it is described on Twitter was that we almost lost the entire internet. That there was one person taking care of like this obscure piece of code and had been doing it for years and was burnt out and was trying to get somebody to take over for him. I feel like that's a huge story. A backdoor, and like I don't even know if this is a reputable site. But like, yeah, apparently DJ Dub is confirming that this actually happened. This is a big fucking deal. A backdoor in the Libsma library, a part of the XY. God, I'm even fucking it up. The XZ data compression tool was discovered by Andres Freund. The maintainer of the distribution noticed a half-second delay in the updated version. This is the story I heard. Like 500 milliseconds he noticed was a delay. He dug into it and found out that somebody had this back door built in. The latter appears to be the brainchild of one of the new XZ maintainers who pulled off an outstandingly sophisticated supply chain attack. God damn it. The story around the back door in XZ data. See, I don't even know what they're fucking talking about. An XZ data compression tool is nothing short of marvelous from both ends and may probably be screened in future. A guy under the nickname Gia Tan was making his way to the status of project administrator since 2021. Typically for any tech-savvy open-source project user, he started offering his fixes for bugs and new functions. Allegedly, by creating a huge number of bug reports, the guy forced the manager to seek for an aid, with Gia being the best candidate at that moment. Oh, wow! This long road was needed to hide a tiny, deeply concealed back door that is not even available from the public GitHub repository. The catch actually hides within the version that goes to the dependent project, mainly major Linux distributions. Have no clue what any of that shit means. Files responsible for the backdoor, and that's what. Is that why media is not picking up on this? Because they don't know how to explain it in layman's terms. But this is wild. So I'm assuming that a major chunk of the internet's servers operate on Linux. The resulting flaw allowed for the unauthenticated SSH access to any machine. The only condition here is the infected XZ package SSH usage. This in turn endangers thousands of servers that system administrators quite commonly connect through this protocol. Linux data they store. So access to up to possibly taking the entire internet down, but accessing the data of millions of users, basically. Backdoor was discovered, on the other hand, the way the backdoor was discovered, on the other hand, sounds more like a miracle. Andres Friend The developer noticed that the SSH authentication took 500 milliseconds longer than usual. I would never notice 500 milliseconds. A half a second. But I'm assuming this guy is sitting behind multiple monitors and he's got speed tests and blah, blah, blah of all the different shit that's going on. Because, like, I don't think I just noticed 500 millisecond difference in, like, something loading up. Also, the operation started taking more CPU power than it used to, which intrigued Andres to search for a new bug. Searches quickly led him to the updated XZ version and consequently to the backdoor built into it. Well, bravo, Andres. Friend. He's a friend of everybody because he quite possibly saved the internet. Holy shit! We want to talk about Lizzo? Also, last time I talked to you guys, the whole Rebel Wilson thing was going on, and she was accusing Sacha Baron Cohen of asking her to stick a finger in his butt. Apparently, before that happened, she had bragged about non-consensually sticking her finger in multiple people's butts. I saw somebody in one of the comment sections be like, oh, her problem was with Sasha asking. So now, if you have a reputation for sticking your finger in people's butts, and Sacha Baron Cohen asked you to stick your finger in his butt, I don't know. All of this is fucked up. You're going to be sticking your finger in people's butts, though.
Life is too short to walk this earth for a crusty asshole. Wash your ass.
Be sure to wash your ass. Because I wanna believe 420 victims. Did I just say 420? I'm sorry, I was scrolling through. 420. I was gonna say sexual assault victims. I was scrolling through stories, and one of the headlines is San Francisco 420 event canceled at Hippie Hill. So subconsciously, I said 420 victims. You have been a victim of 420. Call the Pot Brothers Law Office. Wash your finger too. You don't want to. Before and after, you want a clean finger and a clean asshole. And then you want to clean your finger after it comes out of the asshole. Be giving people no C. diff up in here. West Virginia loves dad bods the most out of the United States. Capability, a family-first mentality, and familiarity are several reasons why Planet Fitness says dad bods can be a good thing. According to the study by Planet Fitness, including according to the Thur study commissioned by Gatorade. According to the study by Planet Fitness, dad bods is a term to describe men who are neither lean nor muscular. Ma'am, you like a dad bod. Fucking beer as well. The study shows that dad bods are most loved in West Virginia, beating out Kentucky, Nevada, and Tennessee. The top 10 are West Virginia, Kentucky, Nevada, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, Indiana, Texas, Arizona, and South Carolina. A lot of these align with slaveholding states. That's kind of weird. I will point out, though, that Kentucky fought for the North, and East Tennessee, West North Carolina, actually tried to secede from the state because they wanted to fight for the North. So, just pointing that out about my Appalachian heritage. April 15th, the tax deadline coming up in 10 days if you haven't done your taxes, which is me. I keep meaning to do my fucking taxes. Southern cooking states, pumpkin spice. You were exactly right. Duh, Justin. Duh, Justin, who absolutely does some Southern cooking. Let's do this. Let's do this. Warlord, you still here? I got a British story for you. The National Trust is defending a vegan scone recipe after wokery criticism. That's what they call it over across the pond. It's called wokery.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
Charity says plain and fruit scones have been dairy-free for years, but can be enjoyed with butter or cream. The National Trust has long prided itself on its famous scones. There's even a blog dedicated to them, along with a Scone of the Month feature. With more than 3 million sold every year, including those served with cream teas at its 300-plus tea rooms. They are seen as an integral part of the National Trust Day Out. I have no clue what any of this shit means. But now, what's the National Trust? Is it a brand or something? Now the organization has been forced to defend its recipe in the face of claims its scones have secretly gone woke with the introduction of a vegan recipe. Forget whether the jam tops the cream or the other way around. It is the lack of butter that reportedly is angering some visitors. Some scones are hard as fuck. Like, is there even butter in them? Some critics have gone public condemning the use of vegetable spread rather than butter in the plant-based scones served in National Trust cafes. Maud Newby, 64, a longtime National Trust member from Bury Street, Edmonds, told the Daily Mail, "I can't stand the taste of the new scones." Why, Crocky, I can't stand the taste of the new scones. They're not like the traditional ones at all. I'm doing a horrible job, I'm sorry. I was very much going for like the Monty Python kind of accent. They are flatter, drier, and have an unappealing texture. Bill Cash, an MP who often has tea and scones in the House of Commons, opined to the paper. I'm sorry, we covered a 7.5 magnitude hurricane, A 7.5 magnitude earthquake. Man setting himself on fire because he was being evicted. Man with intellectual disabilities being executed. And here we are talking about how old British stupid bourgeoisie fucks are upset about the taste of scones. And somebody on Twitter multiple times today say they don't know how I take myself seriously. Well, here's a insight for you. I don't take myself seriously. There you go. Goes. I should have done Lindsey Graham. Not like bend him over and fuck him to him. I had this Lindsey Graham clip. We should have played. This is what we're wrapping it up with, though, before we get an animal video. It's WrestleMania weekend. Exactly these nuts. Nobody takes me seriously. I mean, I do a show with a fucking troll head. It is WrestleMania weekend. I am stoked to watch Roman Reigns. Also, like, if you're on Kick, I'm sorry, I haven't checked in with Kick in a while. All you Kick people, none of your messages have been showing up tonight, so my apologies if you're over there and I haven't seen you. Let me check in. Quesadilla over there, Warlord clinically dropped in. Good evening. Yeah, I'm so sorry about, the messages not showing up. J-Dub flipping me off over here. Miss you all, though. I miss you all. Programming note, I will not be here on Sunday. It is WrestleMania. I will not be here on Sunday. I will not be here on Thursday either. I'm going to be off the entire week. I will be back the next Sunday. We'll be in Nashville for a concert on Wednesday and Thursday. I might be back in time, but I probably won't feel like doing a show. Never know. Who knows? I might pop on. I should be back by Wednesday evening. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. This weekend is WrestleMania weekend, so I will not be joining you for a show. I'll be watching Roman Reigns retain his title in the main event against Cody Rhodes. But the road to WrestleMania has been kind of rocky for superstar Chelsea Green. Pumpkin Spice says we're going to lollygag, so I will not be back in time. We're gonna lollygag in Nashville, so I will not be back in time for a show. Which is totally fine with me. Well, I mean, not that I'm not doing I'm totally fine with lollygagging. I would like to do dinner and lunch at a reputable restaurant. And very much enjoy myself. WWE star Chelsea Green claims a New York City hotel staff thought she was an escort and kicked her out. WWE superstar Chelsea Green. I did a horrible job. Do not judge her by me doing that voice. Chelsea Green claims she was kicked out of a Manhattan hotel because the staffers believed she was an escort based on her clothing. There you can see a picture of Green, which it looks like just a normal mini skirt. Green, 33, who was in NYC for WWE's Monday Night Raw at Barclays Center, says she and a friend planned on getting drinks at the Plaza Hotel's Champagne Bar on Tuesday night before seeing a Broadway show. However, her plans changed because of angry hotel staff. Man, one night you're wrestling at Barclays Center, having the time of your life, and the next you're being kicked out of Fairmont Hotels and accused of being an escort because of your outfit. What Green posted on Twitter, she claimed the incident happened around 5:45 p.m. when the two friends attempted to start their night in the bar, but were told to leave because they weren't staying at the Midtown Hotel, according to TMZ. She spelled her name wrong. How can she spell her name wrong? And WWE might have changed it because of like a copyright. I don't think that's her real name. That's a name they've given her, I do believe. I'm pretty sure she goes by something else. No, wrestler. Also, I added an E now, didn't I? That might be why they did it without the E. Chelsea Ann Cardona, which Cardona is her married name. She's married to wrestler Matt Cardona. I don't know what her... Chelsea Green is her actual name. Without the E. I'll be goddamned. That is her birth name. She's Canadian, so that's why it's weird spelling, I guess. It says yours is the correct spelling. We will go with that. I'm on board. I don't think she was dressed like a hooker though. She should not have been kicked out of a hotel. I feel sorry for her. Like she's got some talent, and I really like her husband, so. Pumpkin Spice, are you still here? I will pick this video for you. You're still here to watch it. Caption said they gave him a little treat. He got a little scrimp. We got his normal balance meal, but they gave him a scrimp. His little treat, a little dessert. He seems to really enjoy it. Does he look dirty, or is it just like that's just his markings? I feel like we need to give you a little bath, buddy. I do believe this is at an animal rehab. What in the fuck? Yeah, this is Roxy and Friends They rescue and rehab orphaned, injured, and displaced wildlife and return them to the wild. Oh, Mountain Mutts has cats? Oh my god! Well, next time I'm on, that's what we're doing. This is Roxy and Friends. I'm gonna link to them if you want to follow them. If you have it in your heart to donate to them. Wild Critters Rescue on Facebook. Little dude had some kind of an injury. They've taken him in. They're gonna get him rehabbed to get him ready to go back out into the wild. When they're scared, they make a insane face, and they show their teeth, and they're puffing up. They're trying to, ward off predators. But when they're not making that face, they're absolutely adorable. When they're making that face, they're kind of ugly. But it's on purpose, right? But when they're making that face, when they're not puffed up, a lot of times when you encounter one in the wild, they're gonna be scared of you, and they're gonna make that face at you. But just to see them be all calm and eating their scrimp, they are adorable. Baby opossum. So once again, guys, I won't be here Sunday night or Thursday night. Maybe Thursday night, who knows? Probably not, though. Going on a little mini vacay. Doing WrestleMania. Doing Pussifer, A Perfect Circle, and Primus. All in the span of a few days. It's going to be a lot of fucking fun. I'll see you guys on the other side. I'll be like a completely different person. Completely recharged. In a much better headspace. And then we'll be finding out what that news be doing. Don't forget, got the 420, the 4th 20 anniversary celebration coming up 2 weeks from Saturday. If you're on YouTube, it will take you to the event. Go ahead, like it. Go ahead. Set a notification for it. The 4th 20 anniversary celebration, April 20th, 4 p.m. I'm going to try to get Curiouser, Pumpkin Spice, to come over and sit off camera, smoke with me, and talk. What you guys don't know is she likes to talk a lot, and I don't know why I can't put a microphone in front of her. She's got a lot to say. I assure you, she has a lot to say. Go ahead. Let me light one up with you. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN. We'll see you in about a week and some change on the Troll Patrol live.